Okay, again, thank you for joining us today. And with this webinar, we are starting the series of webinars where we will teaching you modern, let's say, modern SEO, search engine optimization. So we will try to make this training that even newbie will understand and get knowledge. And I'm sure as we have James here, even experts will have value of this training. After webinar, if it's possible, please send me some feedback to my ticketing system so that I have some inputs for the next webinar. Let me say a few words about James. I know James 5 years as we meet online, and actually he made a really huge help with my previous product launch, and he supported my customers. And now James is one of the best experts in SEO niche. He has a company in UK with huge success, and he ranks sites for customers around of the world. He achieved first page ranking more for than 1,000 sites, and so I'm really happy that James agreed to do this webinar for us. So this webinar will be a theory of researching keywords and optimizing your site for these keywords, because this is a really important step to get rank in your site. Without this, you may build backlinks forever and never see your site rank. So today we have this theory, and next week I will organize for you actually questions and answer session also online where we will talk about RankSnap only. Today let's talk about keywords and on-site optimization. So I'm switching presentation to James. Please welcome James. And James, please start.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I was talking away then, but my microphone was muted. So let me start again. Guys,
Okay. Yes.
Alex, thanks very much for an amazing introduction. I'm sorry about the few technical issues when we got started there, guys. I'm just going to start off by doing a quick audio check. If you can hear me okay now, will you just put a 1 in the chat box for me? Fantastic. Brilliant. We've got quite a few people on the line. Yeah, thanks everyone for that. And I'm sharing the screen at the moment. I'm just going to type the word hello into it. Hopefully that's a screen that you can see. Just let me know if that's what you saw there. It should be Adele coming up. Yes. Okay, perfect. Great stuff. Okay, so Alex, that was an amazing introduction. I really appreciate that. Yeah, guys. I have been doing online SEO since 2008, so probably 10 years, maybe even slightly before that. But I went full-time on SEO, running my own agency and coaching Alex's students since 2012. I've been doing it quite a while. I built up an SEO agency with 9 members of staff. I do local lead gen. I do client consulting in just about every continent apart from Antarctica. And my clients range from e-commerce to local SEO. Okay, I don't say any of this stuff to brag. I just purely say it so that when I explain SEO strategies to you, I don't want you to think that I'm pigeonholing it into a certain type of SEO. If you can learn fundamental SEO skills, it doesn't matter if you're doing affiliate or lead gen or e-commerce, because the way that I like to teach SEO is that it will work in any model, okay? Because SEO isn't a one-size-fits-all model, so I teach you how to figure out how to rank within specific niches. So yeah, I'm really excited to be doing this. What I'm going to do is just ask really quickly, just because I'd like to get a feel for where everybody's at. If you're doing affiliate, can you just put the letter A? If you're doing client consulting, put a C. And yeah, and I'm just really interested to see. And if you're doing lead gen, just put an L. Okay, I just want to kind of see where people's at. Okay, brilliant. So we've really got a mixed bag of people on here. We've got client consultants, we've got lead gen, we've got affiliate. Okay, brilliant. Okay, great stuff. There's some people that are doing all three, like Jim Redmond. So, okay, fantastic. Right, so if we go right back to the very, very beginning, have any of you, put a 1 in the chat box if you've ever heard me or anybody else use the analogy that SEO is a game of poker. Put 1 if you've heard that, put 2 if you've not heard that. I just want to see where people are at. Okay, so we've got loads of 2s, we've got 1s as well. Okay, so the way that I like to approach SEO is that I consider SEO to be nothing more than a game of poker. And before I explain that, I'm just going to say to you that the screen's just going to be still. I won't be sharing anything. I'm just going to be talking for a couple of minutes. So don't think it's frozen. Okay, with that out of the way, the reason that I consider SEO to be like a game of poker is because we're trying to play our best hand to rank #1 in the search results. And Google and their web spam team specifically are trying to play their best hand to make sure that they level the playing field and nobody knows how to rank. And the reason that they do that is they want to sell more ads. Okay? So it is a heads up game. We're trying to do our best to rank. Google's trying to do their best to stop us from ranking. Okay, but here's the deal. In this game of heads up poker, Google's at a huge disadvantage. And the reason that they're at a disadvantage is because every time we search, they're forced to show us their top 10 cards. Okay, I put something into the search engine right now, and Google's forced to show me what it considers to be the best website in #1, and progressively the worst websites going down to #10, and then obviously through the pages. I want to ask all of you this question. If you and I are in a game of heads up poker right now, and I was to leave my cards face up on the table for you to look at, and then I went to the restroom, toilet, bathroom, depending on where you're from, but basically I left my cards face up on the table for you to look at, would it be fair to say that you would be silly not to look at my cards? Put a 1 in the chat box if you think that it would be silly not to look at my cards. Okay, and I'm getting 1s right across the board. And the reason for that is in a game of poker, if you know what your opponent's hand is, it's going to help you to play the best possible hand, right? So Google's forced to show us their top 10 cards. And we can read all over the internet about what SEO is and how SEO should work. You know, one guru will tell you that your title should be 67 characters. Another guru says, no, that's wrong. It should be 120. Then somebody else comes along and says, well, do you know what? Google doesn't even like title tags anymore. And somebody else argues, what are you talking about, you numpty? Okay. And it goes on and on and on forever. Who's right? Who's wrong? Well, the way that I approach SEO is I use Google as my final source of authority. Google's forced to show me their top 10 cards. It doesn't matter if they do 25 algorithm updates between today and tomorrow morning. Why? Because if I wake up tomorrow morning and I've lost all my rankings, where am I checking to find out what the new ranking algorithm is? Google's top 10 results, okay? Because I only have to look at their best cards. Now, this seems really, really simple in a concept, but it's so incredibly powerful, right back to the very basics. Because if you was to read on Google, or I don't know, you went to the Warrior Forum, or you was hanging out in the proper PBN group, or wherever you go to learn your SEO, and somebody makes a claim like, having your keyword in your title is going to get you penalized by Google, okay? We don't need to try and figure out whether they're the guru or not. All we need to do is go to Google and find out whether that's actually true or not. So if I head over to Google now and I type in plumbing Miami, if none of the 10 results have got plumbing Miami written in the title tag, well, then that guru's probably just told me the truth. However, if somebody writes, don't put keywords in title tags anymore, I head over to Google and I start scrolling through the top 10 results, I can see this one's got the word plumbing in it twice. I can see this next one's got plumbing in Miami in it. I can see the next one's got plumbing in there. It's got plumbing in there again. I can see that it's got plumber in Miami there and the word plumbing. It's got plumbers and Miami, plumbing, Miami, plumbing, plumbers in Miami. Okay. If somebody was to say to me now, don't put your keyword in your title tag because Google's going to penalize you for it, just by literally going to the first page of results, I've discredited that argument completely. Okay. But here's the interesting thing if you start employing this method of doing SEO. The reason why one guru would be telling you, oh, your keyword density should only be 0.5%, but then somebody else refutes that and says, you're lying, it's 4% and I can prove it. The reason why that happens is because Google's got different ranking algorithms for different niches, different industries. Okay. So is either one of them wrong? No, not necessarily. Within whatever website they're working on at that specific time, 4% might have been totally fine. But if you follow that 4% and you're in a different niche, you're not doing e-commerce, you're doing local lead gen, and you go and put yours at 4%, you might end up blowing your website up because within particular niches, Google's looking at different ranking signals. Okay. Now, that might be common sense SEO, as Tony says, but I'll explain that to you in a minute. Somebody's asked me what's the plugin that's showing the search volume directly in the results. So I'll go through that with you in a sec because that's part of this webinar. But I just want to stay on this train of thought really quickly, just in terms of different niches. Okay, think about you've got an e-com store right now. And the e-commerce store that you've got is selling Coca-Cola, okay? How many different ways do you think you could come up with to talk about Coca-Cola on your website other than calling it Coca-Cola? You might be able to refer to it as Coke. You might be able to refer to it as Coca-Cola, okay? But what you're never going to do is say that we sell a caramel-colored drink that's got hints of nutmeg, cinnamon, and vanilla. Okay, why? Because everybody knows that the brand is Coke. Everybody knows that the drink is Coca-Cola. Okay, so within a niche like that where you're specifically talking about the brand, it makes sense that the keyword density for that keyword is going to be significantly higher. However, you go into a niche like plumbing within Miami, and there's 100 different ways you could say plumbers Miami. Miami plumbers, Miami plumbing, Miami FL plumbers, plumbers in Miami FL, plumbers in Miami, Florida, plumbers near Miami, Florida, plumbing companies in, plumbing service in. Okay, so the exact match keyword within that niche, if it was written organically and naturally, should be significantly lower than it would be with a branded search. And that's why two gurus could both be adamant in their own right that one of them saying keep your keyword density at 0.5%, the other one saying keep it up at 4%. And the truth is they're both right. Okay, so how do you figure out what it is for yours? Go to the first page of the search results and see who's ranking, figure out what keyword densities they're using and come up with an average. Okay, so I jumped ahead a little bit there, but I just want you to know right from the very beginning that that's going to be the whole thrust of this entire webinar series. We're going to end up doing 5 or 6 webinars in total, and we're always going to use Google as the final source of authority. Should we build Web 2.0s? I don't know. Are the people that are already ranking building them? Should we have a good Facebook page with loads of reviews and likes? Let's go and see if the people that are already ranking have got it. Okay, that will be the thrust going through it, but I promise you it will be more technical than that as I show you my own spin on things. So yeah, I really hope you stay with us through the whole course over the next few weeks. So yeah, now that we've got that out of the way, I just want to quickly just check to see what people are asking here. Okay, so, right, this webinar is going to be specifically about how I do on-page SEO, the types of things that I'm looking out for, but also keyword research. Okay, keyword research is absolutely massive. If you don't choose the right keywords when you're first getting started in SEO, it doesn't matter how many links you build or how well you rank in Google. If that's not going to convert into sales, it's not going to convert into leads, it's not going to convert into business of some kind, then you've absolutely wasted your time, energy, and resources. Okay, so keywords, super important. I actually use a Chrome extension and it's called Keywords Everywhere. Okay, very simple and easy to set up. All you need to do is go to keywordseverywhere.com. This actually uses the Google API key, okay, but it's free to use this. So if you're not using it, get it installed. Keywords Everywhere, install for Chrome. And once it's installed, it'll say added to Chrome. You need to put your email address in because then you'll get emailed an API key. And all you do is once it's installed, it's a little circle with a red K in it. Come to update settings, put your API key in. You can choose which country you want to get the search results from, what currency you want for the CPC. And for now, that's good enough. You just do that. I pretty much exclusively leave mine on global. Okay, if you're doing affiliate and it's to specific countries, make sure you choose one of the countries that's available. Sometimes people come back to me and they're like, hey, how come Plumbing Miami only gets 10 searches a month? It's probably because you switch something to the United Kingdom and then search for something in the US. Always, if you think that the search volume looks a little bit weird, just come and make sure you've got it set to the right country or to global. Okay, it's so often overlooked. So once that's installed, come back to Google after restarting Chrome, and any keyword that you put in, it's going to give you the search volume. So let's just stick with that, Plumbing Miami. You should see now that right underneath the search bar, it tells me that it gets 1,900 searches a month. The cost per click is $14.94, and the competition is 0.7. It's also going to give me all the related keywords over on the right-hand side. And as I said, this is pulling straight from the Google API key. So, yeah. And do I use Longtail Pro? Jim, I don't use Longtail Pro. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using any keyword tools like that. But as you'll learn as we go through this webinar series, I actually have a subscription to ahrefs.com. because it'll allow me to analyze competitor backlinks. It'll allow me to see my rankings, my competitor rankings. It'll allow me to see organic traffic increases over time. It'll allow me to see if I've got any issues with my website, like competing pages, etc. So because I have a subscription to Ahrefs, it gives me everything that I'm going to need in terms of keyword research. Therefore, I don't feel that I need to pay for any other keyword tool beyond this one. I'll just show you how this works real quick. Some of you might be using this already for keyword research, some maybe not. But here's how I always start. Whenever I'm doing any type of keyword research, I always start. I'm going to stick specifically with local lead gen here. You can use this same thought process for affiliate, for client consulting. But I always start with niche city, okay, in that order. So in this case, Plumbing Miami, accountant Jacksonville, whatever, okay. I always start there and look to see what the high search volume is. As long as it gets some search volume, it doesn't need to be super high, but let's say as long as it gets 100 searches, I know I've got a half decent keyword, okay. And then all I do to save an absolute boatload of time is I just find somebody who's already ranking, like Bay Plumbing Co. I don't want to look at what Yelp's ranking for because there'll be millions of keywords. I'm just going to look for somebody on the first page that has the raw URL, like the root domain, and all I'm going to do is just head up to Ahrefs, drop them in, and see what they're ranking for currently. Because here's the good news. They already rank on page 1 of Google, which means they've already had an SEO do all of the on-page SEO. They've already had somebody building the links. They've already had somebody try and figure out all the best keywords to rank for. So I'm not even going to spend time going directly into Google AdWords or trying to pull up Longtail Pro. All I'm going to do is come into here and say, okay, these guys already rank for 223 keywords. What keywords do they rank for currently? I'll make sure that it's in the US. There's 208 of them within the US. I can sort this by position, and I can also sort it by volume. Okay, so what big juicy keywords are they ranking for, if any? Bay Plumbing, 450. These guys get a lot of their traffic here from the brand search, but I can see Plumbing Miami FL, 350. I can see Miami Plumber, 300. plumbing contractors 250, contractors in Miami 250, okay, septic tank clean in Miami 250. I'm going to get most of the stuff that I need, and I can filter this list down as well because my client only works in Miami. Okay, so I don't want to rank for plumber contractors. Okay, it's not a local search. So I only want Miami. So at the top here, I'll just say only show me the keywords that have got the word Miami in it. And now I've got this entire list here, right? And again, I can sort this by volume. Plumbing supply Miami, great keyword. Plumber Miami FL. Contractors in Miami, not so much, but plumbing Miami, plumbers Miami, plumbing companies in Miami. Okay, this is an absolutely great keyword list, and it's taken me just seconds to find it with Ahrefs. So that's what I like to do. You can export this list. Maybe these guys have done really, really well at ranking for some of those sort of exact match keywords, but they might not have done so well at ranking for some other areas or you know, some other niches within some other services within that niche. So I'd export this one first, then I'd just come back and I'd take the next one and say, what are these guys ranking for? What are these guys ranking for? What are these guys ranking for? Okay, I can take the top 4 or top 5, whatever, export all of them, put them into one Excel spreadsheet and remove duplicates. And this is how I do my keyword research when I'm doing client consulting. If I've got a client who says, hey, we want to rank for, you know, we're a plumber, we're in Miami, I don't try and do the keyword research for them. I teach them very early on that they're involved in this process. This is a two-way street. So I'll download all of that info. There might be 150 keywords there. And I send it back to them. And I say, look, here's what all of your competitors are ranking for along with the search volume. You tell me which ones are most relevant to your business. Put a little tick mark next to them or make it green or write yes next to it. Okay. And we'll start off with our keyword list. I don't want to guess, and I don't want to send emails backwards and forwards over a number of days. I just send them the whole data dump and say, you figure it out. And they do figure it out. They consider it a bit of a challenge. They're like, oh, yeah, we do like this, but we don't like that. And guess what? They might even come up with keywords you hadn't even thought of, and now you can charge them more for a consulting fee. Okay, so at the fundamental level, that's the way that I do my keyword research. Make sure you've got keywords that have got search volume. Find what all of your competitors are currently ranking for. It will save you a huge amount of time. And you can do this on e-com stores. If you're going to do it on an e-com store specifically, don't look for the root URL because you're going to have to filter through thousands and thousands of keywords. Okay, in that case, use the / whatever the ranking page is and find out all of the keywords that page specifically is ranking for. It will save you a lot of time and extra steps like trying to figure out excluding or including specific keywords up here. But yeah, that's how I do keyword research. I hope that is easy for you. I'm getting messages saying now you're gone. I hope they're old messages. Just bear with me 1 second. Let me just quickly check. Can everybody still hear me okay? Yeah, okay, perfect. Is this more accurate than Keywords Everywhere? Is this more accurate than Keywords Everywhere Analyze site? Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there. I don't know whether you can ask that in a different ways. Jim says I use Moz. Somebody says, can you say the name of this plugin again? It was Keywords Everywhere. Just go to keywordseverywhere.com. Okay, so once I've got my list of keywords, I start off, the best keyword here is interesting, right? Because you would think it would be Plumber Miami, but we can see here, Plumbing Supply Miami, it says it gets 600 searches. I'm just going to verify that by just chucking that into Keywords Everywhere. It seems quite high, that 600. And this says 880, okay, but I have got this set to global, not just to the US. So somebody in Canada might be looking for, you know, they might have a holiday home in Miami, so we're getting a slightly higher search. But it's good that Ahrefs is actually estimating or what word am I, underreporting what the search volume is, because we'll get a nice little surprise. We'll actually end up with slightly more traffic than we thought we would. So plumbing supply Miami. Okay, this is going to be slightly different because plumbing supply is probably going to be the place you go to buy the pipes and that kind of stuff. It might not really be what my local plumber wants. So I might stick with just plumber Miami as a keyword. Okay, but here's the great news. I've got a good list of keywords. So using Google as my final source of authority, there's a couple of things that I already know to be true about SEO. I've literally ranked and analyzed, like when I was coaching, I coached 1,000 SEOs on how to do SEO, and this was one-on-one coaching. And they used to come to me and say, this site's not ranking, can you help me figure it out? Or they also used to come to me and say, hey, I heard this guru said this, can we check that out? Or, hey, I just bought this really expensive course and can you help me watch it and tell me if it's any good? So doing one-on-one coaching with people kind of gave me a crowdsource perspective on SEO in general. I've got little snippets of information from many people, and the great news was they was paying me to help them figure it out, right? So I had to figure it out there and then. The amount of testing that went into that was ridiculous, right? The amount of actually, let's verify with Google, or let's try that link that they said was a good one to build. Tell me whether it worked or didn't work, etc. So over all of that time, I've kind of been able to figure out some stuff that we know to just consistently be true. But even what I tell you, don't have it in stone. Always do your own research. Because what I wouldn't want to happen is in 6 months from now, you to be watching this webinar back and saying, hey, James, you told me that I should definitely put the keyword in the title and it just hurt me. Okay. Now, right now with the current ranking algorithm, you should definitely have the keyword in your title. There's absolute bundles of proof. If you notice that your rankings drop, just head back to Google and make sure that that's still the case. So I just want that to be the thrust of this, right? You do your own research, but I'm going to tell you what I know to work currently, but don't use that as I'm going to use this same method for the rest of my life and it's always going to work, because Google's known to change quite a lot. So title, okay? Title of the website. Should we put the keyword at the start of the title? Should we put it at the end of the title? Should we put it in the middle of the title? How many words should we have in our title? Okay, seems like maybe overanalyzing and overthinking this stuff, but it's really, really quite interesting. And let me just quickly check. Can you all see now that? Can you all see that I'm on Notepad file? I'll just make this bigger. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So title tag. Okay, when Google's analyzing the title of a website, there's a couple of different things that they're looking at. One of the things that they're looking at is keyword proximity. Okay, and I don't know whether that's an official term or what, but that's the way I like to explain it. Okay, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. And another one is keyword weight. Okay, and this is specifically of your title. And basically the difference between the two of these, keyword proximity, is how close to the start of the title does your keyword appear. And keyword weight is how much of your title is your keyword compared to all of the other words that are within it. Okay? And think about it like this. If I said to you, hey, this page is about calculators, scissors, notebooks, sellotape, laptops, PCs, computers, televisions, out of all of that, how much weight am I giving to sellotape? Okay, I'm not really giving it a lot of weight because there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there as well. However, if I was to say we sell sellotape, that's obviously giving it a lot more weight. Okay, there's only 3 words there and one of those 3 is sellotape. So that's keyword weight. And as I said, keyword proximity is whereabouts in the title something is. Keyword proximity is actually interesting because it's not just used within the title of a website. It's actually used within the page content too. Okay. And this is really, really something worth making a note of, that if I was to write, I love books. Books are amazing. I wrote a 1,400 page book, and it was about SEO. If I was to write that, I love books. Books are amazing. I wrote a 1,400 page book and it was about SEO. Okay, clearly there's some emphasis on the word SEO within that statement. Okay, but the bulk of the bulk of the weight in there, or the bulk of the meaning of that is the fact that I love books and I think books are amazing. So much so I wrote a 1,400 page book, right? Forget how many times it's written, because I could just say, I love books. They are amazing. I wrote a 1,400 page one, okay? Just so that we've got books in there once and we've got SEO in there once. But imagine me now writing the exact same thing, but just putting it in a different way. I love SEO so much that I wrote a 1,400 page book about it. It was amazing. I've said exactly the same thing there, but hopefully every single one of you can see that just in where I put the word SEO and where I put the word book within that statement, one of them is giving you the emphasis on the fact that it's about SEO, and the other one's about the fact that it's about books, even though I've said the same thing. So when we start going further into looking at on-page SEO, and I start talking to you about keyword proximity for the actual content that you're writing, understand that that's what I'm talking about, okay? And the same is true with the keyword proximity. Kevin says, but if you just had sellotape, the weight would be 100%. But I'm guessing that wouldn't be smart. Is there a good weight to go for? That's absolutely a perfect question, because you definitely wouldn't just write sellotape. You're absolutely wasting a lot of opportunity if all you was to write was just sellotape and nothing else. Okay, so great question. I don't like to go for a weight of 100% ever. So let's consider this, okay? When we're looking at who's ranking on the first page of Google currently, we're looking at two things. What is the weight of the keywords? So how many times does either plumber or Miami or appear within the title tag? It doesn't matter which order, but how many times does the word plumber appear? How many times does the word Miami appear compared to the total number of words? And what structure is the title tag? Is it keyword first followed by brand, or is it brand first followed by keyword? Or is it, there is no structure? Some have it in the middle and whatever, okay? So this is what we're going to consider. Something else while we're looking at this is when you do a search in Google, if we just scroll down here, I actually typed in plumber, okay? Plumber Miami. When you do a search in Google, they highlight for you in bold font why they think a listing is valid or why they think a listing is relevant to what you searched. Okay, they highlight it and say, hey, here's why we showed you the result. I don't know whether you've ever noticed this before, but in the meta description, you can see the word plumbing is bolded, the word Miami is bolded. Down here, you can see the word plumber is, the word plumbing is. Here, Miami, plumber, plumbing, Miami, plumbing, plumbing. You can see all of this, right? So what this is basically doing is Google saying, hey, look, here's what you searched for, and here's why we're showing you that result. So this is really interesting because we search for plumber, but Google's telling us, hey, look, plumbing is exactly the same thing. Okay? We search for plumber, but plumbing is the same thing. I'm just going to come away from plumber for 1 second to show you other examples of this. Lawyer Miami. Okay, I've searched for lawyer Miami, but watch what Google does. They've highlighted the word attorney. Okay, so that means that Google knows that lawyer and attorney is exactly the same thing. So we search for lawyer Miami, and we might look at one of these. Let's just scroll down and see if we can see any. Okay, this one right here. The title doesn't contain the word lawyers. The meta description doesn't contain the word lawyers. The URL doesn't contain the word lawyers. You might even click through to this page do a search and be like, the H1 tag doesn't say lawyers. Like, can you see here, the breadcrumb says attorney? So if you're blinkered to that and you just type in the word lawyer, lawyer doesn't appear in the title, the URL, the H1. It only appears, I mean, obviously it's 76 times it appears now on this page. But it's appearing on this page because there's a lot of listings that say lawyer, 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 lawyer. Anyway, you might be looking at this and thinking to yourself, and just like you've probably done with other people in the past, how are these guys ranking on page 1 of Google? They're not even using the main keyword anywhere, right? Put a 1 in the chat box if you've ever asked yourself that question before. I've looked at these guys. They've not got the keyword in the title. They've not got the keyword in the H1. Even when I put my main keyword into the page, it's saying 0. Like, what sort of magic wizardry are these guys doing to rank? Okay. Let me ask you this. For all of those that just said 1, yes, that's happened to you before. For all of you that have said that, do you think that it's possible that they could have been using all of those keywords now that I've shown you that Google considers some keywords to be the same, but you maybe just weren't aware of that at the time? Put a 1 if you think that that could be the case. So maybe you was looking for, hey, look, these guys aren't you putting in Miami lawyer, but actually, if you had searched Miami attorney or attorney Miami, you would have been like, oh yeah, of course they're saying it. It is in the H1. It is in the title tag. It's just not the exact thing I searched for. Okay. Now, the reason why I say that is because if I was to look specifically just for Plumber Miami, the #1 site on face value doesn't actually say Plumber Miami. It says Hernandez Plumbing, and then it says 62 reviews, and then it says plumbing again. But Google's telling us that plumbing and plumber are the same thing. So actually, there is part keyword there. There is part keyword there. Let's actually click through and see how long this is and see if they do use the word Miami in that title anywhere. Okay, and we can see that they do. So this particular title has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different words if we count 83rd and 1, 8, 40 and all of that as being individual words. There's 14 words. Plumbing is a keyword. Plumbing is a keyword. Miami is a keyword. Okay, so we've got 3 out of 14 of those are keywords, right? But let's look at the other structure of this. This is brand first, then plumbing, and then address, then right at the very end there, we've got the actual site, which is Yelp. So again, we've got the brand. So we've got the company name, address, okay? So that's #1. Look at #2, plumber in Miami, okay? In is a stop word. Google just completely ignores that. So this actually says plumber Miami. So it's got plumber Miami first, which is the keyword. Then it's got another keyword, emergency plumber Miami. Then it's got the brand on the end. So far we're 50-50. This one's brand, then keyword. This one's keyword, then brand. Next one, Falcon Plumbing Services Miami, okay? And then it's got Miami Plumber. But again, if we look at this, it's got plumbing, Miami, Miami, plumber. So it's got plumber twice, it's got Miami twice. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different words. Okay, 4 of them are keywords. Okay, we go on to the next one. And basically, we just go through everybody on the first page of Google and we say, is the keyword in there? And if it's in there, what's the structure of it and how many times does it appear? Right? I'm not going to go through and figure it all out right now because it would waste a bit of time, but just very quickly scrolling through it, website #1 has definitely got Plumber Miami in it. Website #2 has definitely got Plumber Miami. Website #3 has. Website #4, if we just click through to the actual listing, yeah, it's got Miami-Dade Plumbing Company up there in the title tag. It's got plumbing in there, it's got plumbing in there, and it's got plumbing. Okay, so if I ask you this question now, just based on what we've already looked at, if I was to say to you right now, put in plumbing or plumber in your title tag more than once is going to get you penalized by Google, would you say, yes, that's true, or no, that's false? 1 if you say, yes, that's true. Put 2 if you say, no, that's false. Right? And everyone's saying false. Now, this is interesting because if I hadn't just shown you this and I had came onto here and said to you, guys, don't be double stuffing your keywords in your title tag because Google hates that and you're definitely going to get penalized. Everyone that just said 2 there, that no, you won't get penalized. Now I've shown you this. Put a 1 in the chat box if, instead of me showing you this, I had just told you, don't double stuff your keywords because you'll get penalized for it. Put a 1 in the chat box if you would have taken that as gospel. You would have said, okay, then, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Right? Because I'm the guru, right? And that's what you're here for. So this is the interesting thing, right? I could just come on here and tell you, hey, don't do this and don't do that, because if I tell you don't do it, I'm the guru. You might believe me, but then you're off building your website, doing your thing, thinking that James Upjohn's great. What a great webinar he gave us. But I might be clueless. It could be the blind leading the blind. Okay. Now, if I say to you, hey guys, don't double stuff your keywords in your titles because if you do that, Google's going to penalize you. I expect you to say to me, James, you're lying. I've looked and I can see that it's there. I can see it with my own eyes, right? And I just want to ask you at this stage, guys, is this making sense to you? Just put a 1 if I'm just interested to see if you're coming along with this. Okay, perfect. James says very interesting. Jim says very interesting. So should we create a page for every keyword? That really depends. I'll come to that in a minute. 1, because you are the authority. Exactly. It depends on niche. I've got here late. Any chance of the replay? Dean, there'll definitely be a replay for this one. It's only $100 to watch the replay. No, that's a joke, everyone. It's free. Just before Alex kicks me off the webinar for making jokes like that. It's free to watch the replay. I have a client whose business name is Name Windows and Doors. The primary keyword is also Windows and Doors. Is there a risk of being penalized for overusage of their primary keyword? Yes, there is a risk for it. So the best thing to do is head to Google, put their primary keyword in, and see how many times the people that are already ranking in one of those top 10 positions is using it. Okay? Because the person in number 1 might be called Ace Windows and Doors, and their primary keyword could be Windows and Doors installations Northwest. Number 2 could be Anglian Windows and Doors, and their primary keyword is Windows and Door installers East Anglia. Okay, if we saw those in position 1 and 2, and they've got Windows and Doors twice in their title tag, and they're ranking number 1 and number 2, do we have to worry about the fact that we might be over-optimizing our own website? No, because it's working for the people that are ranking, so why wouldn't it work for us? Okay. However, if we did that search and nobody on the page, or at least the top 3 or 4, weren't using it twice, then we could probably say, well, I'm just going to put it in there once to err on the side of caution. Okay. And it's a great point that you bring up there with title tags. I just want to mention that to you. Sorry, let me just see who that was. Kevin. Okay. So this is an interesting thing with titles. Okay. So here's another example, staying on the theme. Okay, let's just say Bay City Plumbing, Miami. Okay, this is the brand name, and the main keyword is plumbing Miami. Okay, so could this be over optimized? Possibly. We head to Google, we do the search, and nobody is doing that twice. Okay, so there's basically 2 things you can do in this scenario. You can either put it in there twice and see if it gives you the competitive edge. Remember, we can also assume that some people don't know SEO and we've got the upper hand. So it doesn't mean I definitely wouldn't do it. It means it's something I would split test. I would still try that way because I know it's worked in other niches, but I'd also understand that I was taking a risk because nobody else had. Okay, that's the difference. Understanding why we're doing something rather than just doing it blindly. So That's one thing that I could do. I could try it anyway and see if it get the competitive edge. Chances are most likely not, because nobody else is. Okay. So what I would do instead is I would take that out and I would switch it around. So basically Plumbing Miami becomes the brand. Okay. And then the keyword weight is closer to, or the keyword proximity is closer to the beginning. And then I might write something like free quotes, or something that's going to give me a click-through. Okay, I want to increase my CTR, so I might say 24/7 emergency service. Okay, give somebody a reason to want to click through. Then I've still got the keyword in there once. I've give people a reason to want to click through to my page, and I've got the brand in there as well. That's one way of being able to do it without completely going overboard with just stuffing loads of keywords. Remember though, I would only do that if I was looking at page one and that seemed to be the general thrust, that there wasn't loads of keyword variations in the title. So let me just quickly check. How do you split test the homepage? You split test it literally by changing it to what you think should be right, leaving it a few weeks until Google's recrawled your website, and see if rankings go up or down. Okay, this is the problem with small on-page SEO tweaks. It takes time. So I would try it one way. If it didn't work, I'd reverse it. I'd put it back and see if my rankings came back to where they were before, and then I'd make another adjustment. Okay, when it comes to on-page SEO, it could literally be weeks before Google comes and recrawls your website, figures out what's going on, and then adjusts your rankings accordingly. So this is one of the reasons why I don't like to approach SEO as a game per se. Like, oh well, it might work, it might not work. This guy told me this once upon a time. If I make a change and it's a bad change, it might take me a month to recover. By the time Google finds the original change, adjust my rankings, I realize it wasn't a good change, so I have to change my website back. Then Google has to find it again. Okay, my client's going to be absolutely screaming and kicking my backside if I make changes like that with no real reason. So I super analyze the data, figure out, is this a good change to make? Yes, I'll make it. And I'm usually 95% plus certain that that was a positive change to make. So this is a good starting point just with title tags. Okay, if it's the other way around, let's just say my company is called James Upjohn, that's just the name of my brand, then I would just do keyword first. Plumbing Miami. I might as well chuck the FL in there as well because that's a long tail keyword. And then it would be keyword first, followed by brand. That's pretty much how I structure all of my local SEO client stuff, okay? And most e-com clients too. Brand first, pipe, or hyphen, whichever you prefer, and then brand name, okay? The brand, just to get the brand consistency right across the board on every single page of the website, and then main keyword. That gives you the perfect weight. You can see there, that's a weight including the FL of 60%, okay? This one, slightly lower, but actually I want this page to also rank for 24/7 emergency plumbing. And I want this to also rank for Plumbing Miami. And I also want it to rank for Plumbing Service Miami. Okay. So as a result of wanting to rank for all of those, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keywords in there out of 7 words total. Okay. I don't know if anyone's superb at maths and can figure this out before me, but 5 over 7. Okay. We're at about 70% weight there. But again, we won't get penalized as much for it because this is brand as well as being keyword. So, you know, I want a weight of over 50%. I definitely don't want a weight as high as 100%. But if you really, really wanted to nail it on the money, all you would do is just go through every single one of these and say, how many keywords here? Look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 8. We ignore in because it's a stop word. Okay, so 6 of the keywords are keywords. 6 of the words are keywords out of 8. That's at 75% for these guys. They're getting away with it. The next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 6. Not 5 times. 5. Come on. Sorry, my fingers are all over the place here. 5 out of 6. Okay, their weight's up at 83%. So don't worry about it too much. Just understand what you might also be doing is looking at this now and thinking, oh, I've probably not been aggressive enough. I was so worried about looking a bit spammy in my title that I've been really, really conservative. And I've ended up putting a load of words in there that I don't want to rank for. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. These guys want to rank for plumbing services Miami. They want to rank for plumbing Miami. They want to rank for Miami plumber Miami. Okay, and they've got it all in there, and it's not hurting them. They're ranking number 3. Okay, for something that gets 1,900 searches a month. Just bear with me one sec, guys. I'm literally just going to get some water because I've spoken non-stop now for 15 minutes. Literally, just bear with me. Like, I'm just going to stop for 30 seconds. Just take a sip of water.
People asking for reply. As soon as I will have reply, I will post it into RankSnap help section. I will add subsection there, webinars, and there I will post all our webinars. And yeah, and I will schedule next webinars and also post link to join these webinars. So how you like everything so far? Nice, nice. Yeah, because you know when I did mailing about this webinar, I got many emails back that so it will be like next sales pitch or something like this, and I so
Okay, I'm back now. Yeah, I just want to I just want to address that with everybody, right? Because that's the elephant in the room. You buy a product and a webinar series gets announced, and straight away your back goes up. Yeah, you're thinking to yourself, these guys are going to come on here and they're going to sell me upsells and cross sells and diagonal sells and every other type of sell and try and extract more money out of me. But really, I'm a massive believer in, and so is Alex, in what we call attraction marketing. And that is that we just give you so much amount of content that you just feel compelled to listen to us, trust us, without us needing to sell you anything else, right? So I'm not here to say to you guys, hey, by the way, buy this or this is available. I literally just want to help you guys. And then if you do want to connect with me or anything else, that's entirely up to you. Like, I'm just willing to help people. So you've made a great decision to buy RankSnap. And what I want to do and what Alex asked me to do is, hey, RankSnap is such a small part of the overall strategy. It's a great part of the strategy, of course. And I'm going to be talking on one of the webinars about how we can use RankSnap for doing things like building links to our social profiles to help with social proof, and how we can maybe use them to build some additional links to our PBNs in case they lose power. So I will be doing all of that stuff with you. But there's so much more than me just saying, hey guys, here's RankSnap, click this button, click this button, click this button, and away you go. Because then all that's going to happen is you'll have this great bit of software, but if you don't have the whole strategy, what good's the software, right? You'll be building links to something, but you won't see the maximum benefit from it. So yeah, just understand that's exactly where we're coming from. I'm not going to be saying, oh, by the way, take this upsell or cross-sell. It's just 100% pure value.
Thanks, James. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, perfect. So let me just quickly go back. Okay, so I just want to read what what has been said. Well, you have my attention, James. Very impressed. Thank you. Cheers, Kevin. Great job. I'm impressed with the info. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Oh, wow. I don't know. What did you just ask somebody to say what was going on with the content? Because there's a lot of my head's swelling. I'm not going to be able to get out of this room after reading some of this stuff. Thanks, guys. So just bear with me 1 second. Are you going to run a beginning RankSnap webinar? This is great. However, I need to start up help. Yes, definitely. I think I just answered that, Grace. I will be as part of this series. I think probably the third webinar will be RankSnap and how you can use that. Let me just quickly see. Okay, so Canal has asked, how do you create pages for each keyword? Okay, and Canal thinks that there's only one title tag. Okay, that's a great question. And I'm also going to say this to all of you, right? When I first started in SEO, many, many moons ago, I was back on a forum called Affiliates for You. Like, this is literally going back 2007, 2008. And people were talking about SEO, and I asked the question, what is a title tag? And some people thought it was funny that I asked that question, yeah? But here's the deal. If I had never asked that question, I would have never got the bug for SEO, and then I would have never gone on to be able to teach it to others. So everybody has to start somewhere, and I want every single person to believe that there's never a silly question when it comes to SEO. The only silly questions, I believe, are the ones that people don't ask. Because if you're sat there not knowing the answer to something and thinking, what's he saying, but you're too scared to ask it, then the only person losing out is you. So, Canal, that's a great question, and it's good to see that you're so new to SEO, but you're here anyway learning, buddy. So I'd love to watch your journey over the next few months and see how you get on. So every page of a website has a title, okay? And so here's the deal. If I was building a local client website, I'd have a home page, I'd have an about page, I'd have a contact us page, I might have a services page, I might have a let's say air conditioning page. Let's just say I'm sticking with this for us, the plumbing, and I might have a heating page, and I might have shower installations. Each one of these is going to be a separate page on the website. Whenever I build a website, I always take my main keyword and put that on the home page. It just makes the most sense. That's where I'm going to be building the bulk of my links. That's probably where, starting out, I'm going to be building my Google My Business, my Facebook, my Twitter, my LinkedIn. It's all going to be pointing back to the home page. So my brand is James Upjohn, and the main keyword is plumbing Miami FL. The about page, I'm literally just going to say about us. This would be the title of it. I don't want it to rank for anything, so I don't need to put any keywords in there. Okay, I just want it to be about us, and then I'll stick the brand in there. Same with contact us. Okay, it will just be James Upjohn. Services, I don't want to put the word plumbing in here. And the reason is, if I put plumbing in the title, it's now going to compete with the homepage. Okay, I want the homepage to rank for plumbing. I don't want the plumbing services page to rank for plumbing. So I'm going to make sure that I stop it from competing by just calling this services. Okay, and then this one I do want to rank air conditioning. So I might want this to rank for air conditioning repair Miami, because that's the main keyword that gets the most searches. Okay, so if that's the case, it would be the same thing. My main keyword followed by the brand. Heating, it might not be heating. The main keyword might actually be furnace repair, Miami. That might be the main keyword. So that's exactly how I would do my title. And then shower installation Miami, and then James Upjohn. Okay, that's exactly, if I was doing a local lead gen site, a client that wanted to rank in a local service niche, that's exactly how I would structure it. Every page would have the keyword followed by the brand, apart from the stuff that I didn't actually want to rank. About us, contact us, services, FAQs, terms and conditions, privacy policy, sitemap. Okay, all of those would just be the name of the page followed by the brand name. That's it. Really clear and concise. None of the titles across the whole website compete with any of the other pages on the website, because I don't want to run into something that's called keyword cannibalization issues. Okay, I'll explain that in a little bit. So this is just title tags. Let me just ask this question. How many of you thought that we could literally discuss just title tags for 45 minutes? right? There's a lot of flipping amazing info just around title tags. I never thought that I'd be able to discuss it this long, but yeah, there's so much to discuss about on-page SEO. I might actually need to break this down into just the on-page part of it into more than one webinar. Otherwise, this is going to go on for 3 hours. Is there going to be a recording? Yeah, sorry, there definitely will be. Would you do the pre-done templates like tier 2 or 3 campaign without RankSnap using for clients or blah, blah, blah? Chris, I will definitely explain that on the RankSnap webinar. Alex, let me just quickly check. Have you got a Facebook group for RankSnap? I'm not sure. I don't know if Sorry?
Can you repeat?
Have you got a Facebook group currently for RankSnap?
Actually not. So it was difficult on the start time because too much support, you know, if there will be Facebook group, I will die. So, but I will organize and add it to RankSnap. In my main menu, I will add Facebook group. I will organize.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and Alex, if you make me a moderator or an admin of the Facebook group, anybody that's got questions about campaign templates or getting started with the software quickly, yeah, just post in that group once it's created. We'll get that created quite quickly, and I'll do my best to answer that in there. And then obviously when we come to do the RankSnap webinar, I'll be able to share the information with everybody. Okay, so hopefully that'll be beneficial for you guys. And Jim Redmond is using the software as well, Alex. So just make a note of his name and I'll talk to you about that afterwards. What's the best way to get clients? Okay, completely different webinar. We will discuss that at some stage. I'm literally going to try and keep this one to one-page SEO. But again, if you get in the Facebook group, I'll definitely be able to answer questions like best way to get clients and everything else, no problem. So that's the titles of the website taken care of. Now, I want to show you something real quick. If we just go back to Ahrefs, okay, because a massive issue that kills a lot of rankings, I skirted around the terminology a minute ago when I mentioned keyword cannibalization. Okay, I think that's the way you spell it. In a nutshell, keyword cannibalization is where you've got more than one page of a website competing to rank in Google. Okay, from an end user point of view, i.e. the person that comes to your website, they want to find information that's clear and concise. And we've probably all visited websites like this in the past, or we've created websites like this in the past. We've got the home page, which is Plumbing Miami. We've got an internal page, which is Emergency Plumber Miami. And then we've got another page on the website, which is Plumbing Service Miami. Okay, and then we've got another page, which is Nearest Plumber Miami. Okay, the problem that we've got here, if we've got a website that's structured like that, is the homepage is talking about Plumber Miami. This one's talking about Emergency Plumber. This one's got some more information related to Plumber, but maybe not quite the same as what's on the homepage or the emergency page. And then this one, it talks about the fact that there's a couple of different locations and we're the nearest to you and blah, blah, blah. The problem is the end user comes to your website. They need a plumber, but do they need a plumbing service, or do they need an emergency plumber, or do they just need a regular plumber, or do they need the nearest plumber? And the truth is they haven't got a clue, okay? You're wasting their time on your website and you're confusing them, okay? Have they read all of the information that they needed in a clear and concise way? Probably not, right? Because they've clicked from one page to the next. They're not quite sure where they've ended up. They don't know whether they've absorbed it all or not. And as a result of that, Google will hate your website, okay? Google says make your websites user-friendly. Give them the information in a clear and concise way where they can get all the information they need without putting a load of fluff in there. And here's the deal. If you've ever built a website where you've gone these 4 pages like this because you think it bulks the site out, chances are you've wrote a load of fluff, okay? You've just wrote stuff for the sake of it being there, and you're probably repeating a lot of the same information, just saying it in a slightly different way. Again, it's not good for the end user, and the Google's algorithm will really hate you for it. So what ends up happening is Google comes along and says, okay, this page is about plumbing Miami. So's this one, and so's this one. Which one do we rank when somebody does a search for plumber Miami? And maybe 1 week you built 10 links to this site page. Okay, so this is the clear winner. When somebody searches plumber Miami, this page of your website shows up. But the following week you build some citations and you stick a link to this page, so this picks up a few links. So now when somebody searches, it's not the home page that's ranking, it's this internal one. And then a few days later, you share this link on Facebook and Twitter or whatever, okay? And then what happens is somebody does a search, and now neither of those pages is ranking, this one is. And then all of a sudden, Google realizes this was just a one-time FB and Twitter, it weren't that important. So next time somebody searches, the home page that's ranking again. And basically, your ranking graph, if any of you are tracking your own rankings in Google, ends up looking like a heartbeat, okay? You end up seeing stuff like this. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. We don't really know what's going on. 1 minute we're ranking 33, next minute we're at 94, then we're at 39, then we're dropping down, okay? And as far as you're concerned, there's no real rhyme or reason for it. You don't understand why Google loves your site one day and hates it the next. And it's probably because one day Google ranked this page, but another day it ranked that one, then another day it ranked that one, then it went back to this one again, okay? That is keyword cannibalization. It's where Google can't figure out the best page to rank, and so things changing all the time, okay? Now, there's an easy way to solve this issue across any website, and that is, if you've built a website like this and you notice your rankings are dancing all over the place, the first thing to do is to come into Ahrefs. This is not the best example because this is actually ranking. Let me find somebody who's not ranking and see if I can show you a real-time example of what happens. This is going to be a bit hit or miss here. I should have probably found a better example moving forwards. But when we do a search, okay, so this is ranking for 95 different keywords. When we do a search in Ahrefs, I hope I absolutely luck out here. It'll be good if I can show you a real example. Let's find a keyword that's not ranking so well. Miami repair service. Let me just get, come on. 52. No, I'm not seeing it. This is sometimes the way. Basically, Ahrefs will show you, yeah, this is the right pages ranking. It's just the SEO is not very good. Oh yeah, so here's a perfect example of this happening. Okay, so for the keyword brown plumbing, what happened was, you can see here, brownplumbing.com is the dark blue line, but this sort of turquoise colored line is the contact us page. So something happened to this website where it wasn't ranking, then it was, then it wasn't, then it was, then it wasn't, then it was, and it was going like this. Then it completely fell out of the search results for a year. And then when it came back into the search results, it wasn't the home page that was ranking. It was the contact us page. And it came up to 72, then it dropped out again. And then the correct page came back in again, and it's now number 7. Okay, and this could just be that the contact us page had a very similar title to the home page, and Google wasn't sure which one to rank. Okay, so that's an example of that. If you've got Ahrefs, put your own website in there, look at the keywords that are acting a little bit weird, and see, is it consistently the same page that's always ranking but going up and down, or are there different pages of your website competing for the same keyword? If you find that there are different pages competing for the same keyword, the best thing to do is head over to Google. This is sticking with the sort of title element of it, okay? And we can put in a keyword, so site colon, I'm going to do it on this one right here, brownplumbingmiami.com. So I'm going to do site colon and put the URL in, and then I'll put in the keyword, plumbing Miami, in quotes, and press enter. Google will then show me all of the pages on this website that it considers to be about plumbing Miami specifically. Okay, and what I'm looking for as I'm scrolling through this website is, are any of the titles or meta descriptions containing that main keyword plumbing Miami other than the homepage? Okay, so the homepage doesn't actually have it. It says plumber Miramar. This is interesting. Let me just quickly head back to Ahrefs and just type Miramar into here, Miramar, because it looks like there's a few pages that have got that. And let's see if there's anything competing on any of these. Okay, so here's another perfect example. Okay, so I knew that there would be issues with Miramar because this title says Miramar. Okay, we've also got Miramar in this title. We've also got Miramar in this title. And yeah, so I knew that this is actually a keyword now. This is Miramar plumbing. You can see how it's got Miramar in it and it's got plumbing in it. This one here has got plumber and it's got Miramar in it. This one has got plumbing, it's got Miramar. So yeah, that's what I mean by pages that compete. And we can see that right here. Okay, so for Miramar Water and Sewer, it was the water heaters page that was ranking, that is ranking now. But previous to that, it was the Miramar page that was ranking. But currently, it's actually not doing anything. Google's confused. It doesn't know which page to rank. So instead, it's not ranking either of them. Let's see if we see that across all of the Miramar type keywords. This one did come back for a little while. It's dropped off. Let's take a look at this next one. This one's a bit more consistent. It's the correct water heaters page at least. Yeah, but again, that's just dropped off. This is a website that's just not ranking so well. There's definitely issues. Okay, they can fix this by sorting out their keyword cannibalization issues. So the way that we would do that on any website is ask yourself the question, what's the main keyword I want to rank each of these pages for? Okay, and if we can rank the homepage for plumbing Miami, we can also rank it for emergency plumber Miami. It's the same keyword. Emergency is just like a long tail version. So do we actually need this page? No. Okay, it's a redundant page because all we're doing on this page is talking about the fact if you need an emergency plumber. So let's take the content off of that page and instead include it on the homepage. We can add a paragraph talking about the fact that we're an emergency plumber. Plumbing Service Miami, we absolutely don't need that page. If there's any good content on there, again, get rid of it and then add it to the Plumbing Miami page. Nearest Plumber Miami, we're just talking about the different locations we serve. We don't actually need that because the homepage could talk about the fact that we offer an emergency service in all these locations. Okay, it's all one page here. We're affordable. We're friendly. We offer a full plumbing service. Okay, so the homepage, it's got the main keyword in the title, but we're also talking about emergencies. We're also talking about the fact that we're near and its location. We're talking about the fact that it's a plumbing service. This homepage could rank for all of those keywords. It's not necessary to have 4 different pages. And now what we've done is we've removed all of that additional fluff and bloat that we created where we were saying the same thing on each page but just in a slightly different way. And now we've created one page which is very valuable to the end user. And now when Google comes to the website, our end user comes to the website, there's absolutely no question whatsoever which is the page for plumbing in Miami. Okay, if you was to look at my site above and I was to say to you here, which is the page for plumbing, which is the page for air conditioning, which is the page for shower installations, you would know absolutely just by looking at the navigation menu. It's clear, it's concise. If on the shower installations page, I say, hey, we're the #1 plumber in Miami, the first time I mention the word plumber, I'm going to link back to the home page because that's the page for plumbing. On the home page, I'm going to say, hey, we offer all different types of service, including air conditioning repair, furnace repair, and shower installations. And what am I going to do? When I mention the word air conditioning, I'm going to link to the air conditioning page. When I mention the word furnace repair, I'll link to that page. When I mention shower installation, I'll link to that page. Why? Because if Google was ever confused, is this the page for air conditioning? No, I know this is not the page for air conditioning because there's a link on this page pointing somewhere else telling me that's the page for air conditioning. Okay, so keyword cannibalization, clear and concise titles is going to be super, super important for you guys for SEO. Let me just quickly check at this point to see if any of you guys have got any questions. I'm just going to go silent for about 10 seconds as I just quickly read.
Okay, meanwhile, I just sent you a link for Facebook group. Please join while you are here and we waiting for James.
Perfect. I can see that people have got that. Okay, great stuff. So that's the title of the page taken care of. We've got now making sure that we've got the correct pages on the website. And I said to you, plumbing, about us, contact us, services, okay? But there's actually 6 pages of a website that Google absolutely loves to see, okay? And those 6 pages of a website are a home page. Make sure you use your main keyword there. About us, okay, a real business wants to boast, or not boast, but they want to say, look, this is who we are, this is when we were founded, this is what we're about, this is our company ethos, mission statement, and everything else. Okay, you can do this on ecom, you can do this on affiliate, you can do it on lead gen, you can do it on client sites. Homepage about us just makes sense, right? Contact us. This is a sticky one for people doing affiliate or ecom. A lot of times, people think to themselves, you know, I don't really want to put a telephone number on my website. It's only lead gen anyway. I don't want to stick an address on there. I don't want to stick a telephone number on there. But a few years back, Google said 2 things. Matt Cutts, the head of the web spam team, or the old head of the web spam team, he actually said 2 really important things which put me on this whole sort of path of the way that I currently do SEO. And the 2 things that Matt Cutts said was, number 1, brick and mortar should outrank lead gen, affiliate, or let's just say lead gen, affiliate, or no, we'll just say lead gen or affiliate. Should outrank lead gen or affiliate sites. Okay, that was the first thing that he said. Brick and mortar should outrank lead gen or affiliate sites. And then the second thing that he said is the brand should rank number 1. Okay, now just to explain both of these, I'll start off with the brand should rank number 1. If you head to Google right now and you type in Amazon, it's fair to say that you would expect amazon.co.uk, amazon.com, amazon.co.in, wherever you are in the world, you'd expect to see Amazon, the online shopping giant, to be in the number 1 position. If you went to Google and you typed in Apple, you would expect to see apple.com ranking number 1. Okay, we expect the brand to rank number 1, regardless. Okay, if you went to Google right now and you typed in Amazon and the number 1 listing came up, Amazon lawyers in Miami, okay, you'd feel that Google would absolutely failed. If you went there and you typed in Apple and number 1 came up, your local supermarket selling an apple, okay, you'd think that Google had failed. Why? Because we expect the brand to rank at number 1. Google's gone a long, long way to make sure that the brands rank for their keywords. So that's the first thing, right? Then the second thing is brick and mortar should outrank lead gen or affiliate sites. Now, this is pretty sensible, right? If you just think about any transaction you've ever done online, you walk home and you come home at night and you've got water pouring through your ceiling, you jump onto Google and you search for emergency plumber. You know, you need somebody out before your house is destroyed. Do you want to get on the phone, maybe see a couple of reviews, find out where the plumbers are based, be able to pick up the phone, speak to a real human that's got lots of social proof, and basically, if they come around and fix the job and it goes wrong, okay, maybe something explodes after they've left, you need to find a way that you can get in contact with them, start a complaint or get a refund or search them out on social media, versus you want somebody who's just got this affiliate site that you don't know where your details are being sent, or a lead gen site, again, you don't know where your details are being sent and you don't know who's ultimately responsible. If we forget about SEO for a second and we just put ourselves in the shoes of the end user of Google, which is the searcher, we always want the real brick and mortar business, okay? It just goes without saying, okay? So when I heard Matt Cutt say those two things, I had a bit of an epiphany, right? I thought to myself, okay, the brand ranks #1 and brick and mortar ranks #1. All I need to do is convince Google that I am a brand and I am a brick and mortar, okay? Well, the epiphany ended there because it took me nearly 18 months to figure out how I convinced Google that I'm the brand and how I convinced Google I'm the brick and mortar. I remember saying to an SEO at the time, again, this is going back, I don't know, 2011, 2012. I remember saying, if we can convince Google that we're the brand for a keyword, we'll absolutely crush it. And he said, well, how do we do that? And I said, well, that's the $1 million question. Because at the time, we had no clue, right? However, roll forward another 6 years since then, and we've convinced Google that we're the brand for so many different keywords that there is a science to it. You literally could go out tomorrow and convince Google that when somebody does a search for best online calculator or whatever, you know, best plastic calculator, they're not searching for a keyword. They're actually searching for you because you are that brand. Okay, that's the way we started doing SEO. We take a keyword and convince Google that we're the brand for that keyword. I can just to summarize that really quickly, because this wasn't my actual train of thought. I need to get back to that. But you might ask, well, how do you do that? Okay, the same as how real brands do it, by having a good social presence, by making sure that you've got loads of citations which say that your company name is that keyword, by making sure that your website is registered to that keyword as the company name, by making sure that in your schema markup, when it asks for your company name, you use the keyword, by making sure if you get a Google My Business listed, your company name is that keyword. You just give Google so many brand signals to say, hey, look, we're the registered brand for this keyword, that you can totally steal that top spot and keep it, just like Apple did, just like Microsoft did, just like Yahoo did. Okay, so it's totally possible to do that. In order to do that, you need to buy an exact match domain, and that could be a whole nother topic of a webinar. But the reason for me going off track and explaining all of that to you is because I've spoken to so many affiliates and so many people that have got lead gen sites that say to me, yeah, but James, I don't want my contact details on the website. James, I don't have an address to put on the website. Yeah, but James, this is just some affiliate lead gen site, or this is some WooCommerce affiliate site. Yeah. I don't want to put contact details on there. I don't want to put an address on there. I haven't got a telephone number. I don't want to create social media. Well, guess what? Would you trust buying from that website yourself? Probably not. But you're trying to expect Google to rank that website higher than any of the others and forcing the end user of the Google search engine to rank, right? So I wanted to tell you this whole story about brick and mortar should outrank lead gen and affiliate, and the brand should rank #1. Why? Because Amazon is a brick and mortar. Amazon is a brand. Google is a brick and mortar. Google is a brand. All of these big sites that are already dominating at the top of the search engines, especially when you start going into e-com and affiliate keywords that are big national keywords, if you're coming along with this little website like, no, I don't want any refund policy, any privacy policy, any terms and conditions. I don't want to show people my sitemap. I'm not going to put an address on there. I don't want to put a telephone number, and I'm going to be invisible on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Okay, you might rank by some miracle just by blasting it with PBNs, but it's not going to last long term because somebody who is a real brand is going to come along that's got that social proof, that's got all of the stuff that Google was looking for, and they're just going to snatch the rankings right off you. So if you're doing affiliate and you're doing e-com or lead gen, there's a couple of things you can do, right? Just put a fake address on your website. Still convince Google that you're the brand. Still convince Google that you are the brick and mortar. Like literally take your home address, but just change a letter in it. Okay. So my home address being 3 West Haven Mews, I might just put 6 West Haven Mews in there. Okay. 6 West Haven Mews doesn't exist in theory, but the street West Haven Mews exists. The postcode, zip code, whatever you want to call it, exists. So we can use a real fake address. It still sends the signal to Google to say, hey, look, we care about our customers. We are a real business, and here's our address. A telephone number, you can literally just buy a call tracking telephone number from Google from Twilio for $1 a month. Put that on your website. Now all of a sudden you start looking like even though you're an affiliate site, you start looking like somebody that cares about your customers. You're giving them an address. You're giving them a telephone number. That telephone number, you can just have it go straight through to voicemail. Like Google's not ringing it up just to have a chat with you, okay? But the fact that there's a telephone number there, just stick it down in the footer. Customers aren't going to be calling you if they're trying to buy a calculator online, but you're giving the right signals to Google, okay? Because you can bet if you went to Amazon right now, you'd find a customer service telephone number. If you went to Apple, you'd find the telephone number of your local store. You'd find their address. Okay. Of course, if you're doing not lead gen, if you're doing local client consulting or you're doing SEO for a real business, national or otherwise, you don't need to make up details. You can just ask your customer, what's your telephone number? What's your email address? What's whatever. Okay. Take that information and stick it straight on the website if it's not already there. It's going to really, really help. Let me just quickly check here just to see, doesn't LLC show you are a real business? Yeah, if you can get an LLC, go for it. Great webinar. I've got to go. See you on RankSnap help menu. Brilliant point. Mind blown. I'm not sure what point that was because I just kept talking there. How do you convince Google I'm the brand for a lead gen site? Okay, perfect. How do you convince Google that you're the brand for a lead gen site? Okay, so you go out and you buy a domain name. You just basically, you go out and you buy a domain name. Get something that has search volume. Go out there, get something that's got search volume. And where's my search? Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so 880 searches a month. I actually did this as a training series as part of another membership where I went out, I bought the domain name, and over the next 2 months, I showed every single step to build this website and get it to rank in Google. I've not done anything with this website for 6 to 12 months, okay? But this was a test case where I wanted to prove to Google that I was the owner, like I was the brand. Warrington Carpet Cleaners, warringtoncarpetcleaners.org was the domain. It's number 2 currently, but my secure SSL certificate expired. Okay, so that will show you how long ago it was that I did the series. It was ranking number 1 in the maps and number 1 in organics within 60 days of me buying the domain. And that's just because I bought the EMD and I went out and registered a load of citations in the name of the EMD. I went and listed myself in Google My Business, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm going to be talking to you on one of these webinars about social stacking anyway. that goes an awful long way to convincing Google that you're the brand for a given keyword. Okay. Yeah, so this was ranking #1 for both. I didn't touch the site for the longest time, and then the SSL expired. As a result of that, I lost the GMB listing. It stripped the website out of it, and I only logged back into it, I think 2 days ago, to put the website back on there. I'm not even sure if it is or isn't. I can't see it. Oh, here it is here. But yeah, I literally only did that. So I'm going to work on that over the next week or so, hopefully, so that when I come back from my holiday in Spain, I'll be able to show you that again and say, hey, look, I took it back up to the top position. Okay? Because it's really not difficult once you convince Google you're the brand. Here's the deal, though. If you convince Google you're the brand, don't do silly things like letting your security certificates expire, or there's another quite dodgy little thing that people do, right? This is naughty. Don't do it, because I'm a big believer in karma. But home carpets, if I come in here and click suggest edit, and I come in and I change something about their listing, if they don't respond to that change within so many days, Google automatically changes it. You can really start messing with some of your competitors. Don't do it, because I'm a big believer in karma, and also it's just a bit of a dick thing to do, to mess with your competitors. So don't do that. But that's what happened as well with Warrington Carpet Cleaners. I lost the telephone number on the listing, and my security certificate expired, my website link went, and I'm pretty sure it was warringtoncarpetcleaners.co.uk that just came in and suggested edits on my listing. And because this wasn't at the top of my list of priorities, I didn't respond to any of it. And yeah, my ranking just tanked. But still #2 in the organics. It's had no SEO done to this website in 6 to 12 months. It gets 880 searches a month, and it's still there, right? This was literally a test website. So I've got loads and loads and loads of examples of that. My wife, Pinky's Polished, she ranked #1 for nail salon surely inside 6 weeks, just convincing Google that we had the brand keywords for some of her keywords. It's just tried and tested. Obviously, all of my clients as well, ranking for some pretty huge things. I think my biggest client that we've managed to convince Google that we're the brand for is male sex toys. They're ranking at the top of Google for things like fleshlight and some pretty huge keywords, 74,000, 84,000 searches a month. So anyway, back to where I was at. We convinced Google that we're the brand with the brick and mortar, and to do that, we need certain things. Home, about, contact us. Real information is definitely the best way to go. However, if you can't get it, just use a genuine fake address. You also want FAQs on there. You also want terms/privacy. Super important to get terms and privacy policies on there. You want a sitemap, and this is XML sitemap. You submit that to Google Webmaster Tools, but you also want an HTML sitemap on your website. And the HTML sitemap, just stick that as a link down in your footer, so that somebody can come along to your website and say, okay, I wonder what pages there are. They click that, and it will just be one page on the website which links to every other page on the website. Okay, so home, about us, contact us, terms, FAQs, sitemap. We've got 6 pages there. Any lead gen site, affiliate site, or e-com site, I start off with that as my absolute core. Okay, how many words should you have on your about page, contact page? What I do with my contact page, just to get more topical relevance, I'll just show you this on Warrington Carpet Cleaners, is I like to put some information about the area on there. Where are we with that? Warrington Carpet Cleaners. About page, 300 to 500 words of content. You could just go to a service like I Need Articles and just buy some content about carpet cleaners and just see what they come up with. But the contact us page, there should be a page on here, something like Warrington information. Okay, yeah. So here you see Warrington information. Warrington is the largest Cheshire town, and it happens to blah, 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 blah. It's just talking about some nonsense. Nobody's going to read this, but the fact that this contact us page It's talking about that it's got one of the first IKEA stores in the UK. It's a very old new town. It's a significant place of American history. It's got a rugby league. Google will be reading all of this content and absolutely nailing me into the area of Warrington. And remember what I said to you earlier about keyword cannibalization? I said make sure that your pages don't compete. Well, this has the potential to compete because Warrington Carpet Cleaners is both the brand and the keyword. So the very first time I mentioned the word Warrington, it links back to the homepage. So I'm saying to Google, hey, this isn't the page for Warrington. Even though there's amazing content here, if anybody's searching for Warrington and I want my website to show up for it, make sure it's the homepage, okay? But think of all this topical relevance I've now got pointing from this site. And the same with supporting content on the site as well. So if I click on the blog, that's another page I like to put on. I forgot to mention that, blog. It doesn't matter if you're doing e-com or you're doing affiliate or you're doing lead gen, client stuff, okay? In fact, e-com's the best to do supporting content for because with an e-com site, you wouldn't really send links directly to the category page. What you would typically do with an e-com site is you would write an article about the 10 best calculators, and then that article would link to your calculators page. And then it would be the article that you wrote on your blog, which picked up the PBN links, the RankSnap links, the shares on social media, okay? It's not very often in the real world that people would just be like, oh yeah, you can go to amazon.com/calculators, okay? People wouldn't share that on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, RankSnap and everywhere else in the real world, but they would share an article talking about the 10 best calculators. So e-com definitely supporting content. However, local SEO, I put an article on here, the complete guide to buying. Oh, this is interesting. I forgot I even did this. I was running some tests on this website. You see this says flapple boogie fart. I put that word in there because I was running a test to see the keyword weight. Okay, this is interesting. Keyword weight, how do I determine what keyword weight? I just made up a completely random word, flapple boogie fart. You can see that. Okay, so what I did was I put that towards the start of the sentence and then waited for Google to index it. And I put this at the middle and waited for Google to index it. And I saw which one of the two ranked higher for that term, flapple boogie fart. Okay, I forgot I did that. I was running it as a test of some SEO thing that I do. And does it make more sense if you have more weight by putting it in there twice? I probably need to remove that because that might be affecting conversions. I forgot that was there. But I wrote a long article about the complete guide to buying carpet cleaning machines. And the first time I mentioned carpet cleaning, it linked back to the homepage. Loads of topical relevance. I made an article about the best places to eat in Warrington. And the first time I mentioned Warrington, I stuck a link back. Of course, places to eat, it's got nothing to do with carpet cleaning, but it's given me bundles of local relevance. It's going to be talking about all of the different restaurant names in Warrington. Again, it's going to super cement me right in that town as Google's reading through it. And the first time that I mentioned Warrington, there's a link pointing back to the homepage saying, hey, Google, this isn't the page for Warrington. The homepage is. These are just sort of 300 to 500 word articles. And I think I put 3 of them on my blog and I linked them all back to the homepage. Okay. And then the contact page had sort of 300 to 500 words on there talking about Warrington information. That's all the supporting content I need. I'm not doing anything super clever with siloing, if any of you have ever heard that term. If you haven't heard that term, don't worry about it. Forget I even mentioned it. If you have heard siloing and you don't know what it is, you've heard it and you're trying to figure it out, I will say to you, I'm not doing that on any of my websites. I'm literally, if it's e-com, I'm writing articles about the product or reviews, and then we're linking that. And if it's local stuff, as you see, I've just got a blog where I write 3 or 4 articles related, and you can see that's 880 searches a month. Even forget the fact that I told you it used to rank number 1, it's still ranking number 2 with minimal SEO effort. Like literally, I think it had 5 PBM links, social stack, and some citations, and we just convinced Google we was the brand. So it's generating phone calls, and it's doing okay as a little lead gen site. I just need to go in there and fix those issues. I'm not sure if that's affecting conversions, but just convincing Google you're the brand, it goes a long way to getting rankings and keeping them long term. So I'm just going to quickly read these. We've literally gone an hour and 40 minutes, guys. I've got so much more stuff I can talk to you about on-page SEO that I might actually make the second webinar about on-page SEO. What I don't really want to happen is for people watching these replays to have to sit through 3 hours worth of content. So I'm probably going to end this in the next couple of minutes and then do on-page SEO part 2. But let me just quickly ask if you guys would be up for that. There's quite a few people that are saying they're going to have to go because it's unfortunate. If I carry this on and do on-page SEO part 2 when I get back from Spain, it will be in a week. I'll be talking to you about schema markup. I'll be talking to you about what to do with your heading tags, how to figure out the best content length, where I buy my content from, all that kind of stuff. In the meantime, if you've got questions specific to RankSnap, we can answer that in the Facebook group. Does that sound fair to everybody? We're getting hell yes. Can we get a replay of this one also? I was 20 minutes late. Absolutely, yes. So, yeah, guys, I really, really appreciate all of you buying RankSnap with Alex. I don't know how many of you have dealt with Alex in the past, but one thing that I will say is that he creates great software and his support is impeccable. And that's why I don't mind aligning myself with him to do this training. So much so, like this is literally cards on the table. Alex offered to pay me to do this webinar, but because we've got a great relationship, I said I'd do this webinar absolutely for free for you guys because I rate Alex so highly as a friend and as a businessman. So I've just give up an hour and 45 minutes of my time to give you this. I'm going to give up my time to help you guys within the Facebook group because I love SEO, right? I really, really love it, and I love coaching. So I'm going to say thank you to Alex as well for creating great software and for allowing me to do these webinars. And I look forward to speaking to all of you inside the Facebook group. I'm off to Barcelona. No, I'm off to near Barcelona on Tuesday for a week. So if I don't respond to you in the group straight away, I haven't abandoned you. And the next webinar is going to be when I get back from Spain. Okay, probably the Wednesday or Thursday, like the 8th, 9th of August, right? So don't think I've abandoned you if you don't hear from me from the next 10 days. I'm going to be drinking sangrias and sunbathing. So yeah. Guys, I really hope this has been beneficial for you. It's probably a good time for me to stop now. We've spoke about the importance of keyword cannibalization. We've gone into great amount of details about how to structure your website in terms of what pages supporting content, what your title tag should be, convincing Google that you're the brand, the brick and mortar business. It's probably a good time to stop now. And then when we jump into the next call, as I said, we'll discuss H1s, schema markup, and we'll just carry on like this. As long as you guys are enjoying the content, I'll just keep going with it. I really do want to see you guys successful. So I'm going to say my goodbye, and then Alex will probably just jump in and say something. So I'm going to end this personally by saying, guys, I really appreciate all of you for coming along. I know your time is valuable too, so thanks for listening to me. I hope this has been beneficial. I look forward to connecting with you in the Facebook group and on the next webinar. And I'm going to bail out by saying good night and God bless. And I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Cheers.
Thank you so much, James. As Kevin said, pure gold. And I think everybody agree here that this webinar was pure value. And Jace even told many things that I didn't know and didn't realize. So as we agreed, we continue when James back from his vacation, and we will still stick on the on-page optimization because this is very important step. and we have to cover it. And I saw in chat some questions. So when we actually will talk about RankSnap. So RankSnap is tool. This tool just will help you to get ranking. But as I realized during two first week of support, there are many total newbies in this. So people just trying to do something without understanding the theory. And that's why I decided to do this webinar series, and that's good that James agreed. And we will continue this way. Yes, it took near 2 hours of your time, but the content I think was valuable. And next week for you guys, I will organize RankSnap Q&A webinar. I will be alone there and try to show you something in RankSnap and answer all your questions. So thank you again for joining us. Don't forget to join Facebook group. Let me post link again. How to post it? Hold on. Here. Yes, please join, and let's keep together. And in the Facebook group, we can also discuss some kind of details, some ideas, etc. Okay.
What's the just so we've got it on voice for those that are not on the webinar live? What's the URL for the Facebook group?
Yeah, I've just pasted it into
chat.
Right?
Yeah, and that's totally fine for people that are on the webinar, but there's going to be lots of people that watch the replay that won't be able to click that link. Are you going to...
Yeah, I will mail and add into RankSnap into menu.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Okay, James, and do you know where is the button to stop webinar?
Yeah. Okay, guys. So yeah, thanks very much for coming along. Really appreciate it. And if you've got any questions, just related to SEO or related to RankSnap, just post in the group and I'll do my best to answer those for you. Thanks very much, everyone. Again, good night and God bless. And I'm going to end the webinar now. Cheers.
Yes.